We are not going home until we pass some legislation that will give relief to the American people. That I know.
Racing to agree on a COVID-19 stimulus bill, lawmakers in Washington have just a few hours to pass a bill to help millions of struggling Americans.
Packaged and ready to be shipped, millions of Moderna's coronavirus vaccines are on their way to hospitals across the country.
This is another crucial step in the fight against a global pandemic.
Yes, it is. And a surge in students who want to go to medical and law school. We're going to look into what's behind the jump in applications.
Good Sunday morning. I'm Katie LaSalle, and welcome to Denver7 News.
I'm Eric LUPHER. Thanks for joining us. Katie, it's going to be warmer out there today, but with it comes the wind.
Yes, 50s this afternoon for much of the Front Range and Eastern Plains, but extremely gusty winds will develop into the late afternoon, especially through the early evening just west of Denver. Outside this morning, though, all is relatively calm. We're at 26 degrees downtown. Winds sustained from the south out at DIA at 14 miles per hour, so the wind chill values feel a little bit colder, especially east over the plains. Right now, we're off to a chilly start. Greeley at 19 degrees, 25 in Fort Collins. Will stay mostly clear and dry for this Sunday, with just a slight chance for a little bit of light snow over higher elevations into our northern Front Range mountains. The winds, though, are the main weather story right now. Last recorded over Berthoud Pass at 67 miles per hour. Up and down the I-25 corridor in eastern plains, currently seeing winds around 5 to 10 miles per hour, but it will absolutely pick up later on. So just hold on to your hats later on today. Things will calm down tonight, and we are tracking another storm set to bring some more snow just in time for before Christmas. More on that coming up, Eric.
All right, Katie. Happening now. Millions of coronavirus doses are getting ready to be shipped across the country. We're taking a live look inside a distribution center. This is in Mississippi, where workers are getting ready to package up those vaccines. Colorado is expected to get tens of thousands of doses, and those should arrive tomorrow. Denver7's TOWLE is in the newsroom to explain exactly how many doses Colorado will get and why those doses are critical for the state's rural areas. Sean.
Yeah, Eric, very critical. Governor Jared Polis says our state will receive more than 95,000 doses this week of that Moderna vaccine, and those doses will be prioritized for nursing homes. And the vaccine is a big boost, as you mentioned, for those rural areas because it does not need to be stored at those super low temperatures like the Pfizer vaccine. Now, there's a few other differences between this one and the one from Pfizer. Moderna's vaccine would be given to people age 18 and over in 2 doses 4 weeks apart. Minor side effects include fever, fatigue, and headache, and the FDA says the vaccine is more than 94% effective. And early data also suggests the vaccine may reduce asymptomatic infection after one shot. And unlike Pfizer's vaccine, as I mentioned, it doesn't need to be stored in those ultra-cold freezers, making it easier to distribute to rural communities.
While this second vaccine from Moderna, added onto Pfizer, now allows us as a whole of America to be on the offense, we are a long way from being finished.
The federal government says it could be 6 months before most people can get vaccinated. A third vaccine from Johnson & Johnson is also on the horizon. We're expected to know by early January whether that version is effective. Back to you guys.
Sean, thank you. But Colorado has fewer Pfizer vaccine doses to work with than expected. Governor Jared Polis says the most recent delivery came in with just under 40,000 doses. That is much lower than the nearly 57,000 our state had planned for. Leaders of Operation Warp Speed apologized for a miscommunication about the number of Pfizer doses each state will receive. They say there's nothing wrong with vaccine production. It called it a planning mistake. And this is why Colorado is focused on widespread vaccination. Coronavirus case numbers are way higher than we want them to be. Colorado reported nearly 2,500 new cases on Saturday. At least that figure is trending down. And as for the number of hospital beds in use because of the virus, that stands at just over 1,400. It is down significantly from our peak at the start of the month, but 10% of hospitals predict they will have ICU bed shortages within the next week.
One bright spot in the pandemic, medical schools are seeing a surge in applications. Some are calling it the Fauci effect. The University of Colorado School of Medicine has seen a 35% increase in applications over the last year. That equals more than 14,000 applications for just 184 spots. Admissions officials say the increase may be partly driven by the pandemic, but point out that students who pursue medicine typically have to start planning years in advance.
If you weren't already considering medical school before March, it would be really hard to get a full application together, to get medical experience during a pandemic.
It's not just medical schools. The University of Colorado Law School has seen a 61% increase in applications. Admissions officials believe that's directly tied to the social justice movements of 2020.
Lawmakers on Capitol Hill are expected to vote on a coronavirus relief package sometime today. Government funding is on track to expire tonight, and lawmakers want to pass a stimulus deal with government funding to put those issues together. And here's what's in the bipartisan coronavirus relief bill: $600 payments to most Americans, $300 per week in jobless benefits, and $30 billion for small business loans, and billions of dollars as well for schools and vaccine distribution. Now, Republicans want to use this bill to limit the way the government can respond to future crises. They say the COVID response worked well, but there should be guardrails in the future. Democrats call it an attempt to make life difficult for the Biden administration. Both sides call this point a deal breaker.